Oh, good grief. Okay, so I'm going to need somebody to go in and tell me if they can see me here. I'm having some usual technical difficulties as per usual. At any rate, if somebody could come in here and leave me a comment at the event page, it would be very appreciative, or I would be very appreciative. I'm also waiting to see if I can get some people to join up. Okay, so I've got one person who says she can see me. This is good. Angela can see me. So, Angela, let's see. How can I invite you? We'll go into there. And hopefully Angela can come in and view this as well. And I believe Amelia, if she is here, we might be able to chat with her just shortly. I apologize for the delay here. It's one of those technical things. I haven't done this in a very long time, so you get stuck in your own rut. And unfortunately, I seem to have waffled a little bit here. So give me 2 seconds. But people can see me, so, or at least one person can see me. If anybody else can let me know. You can leave questions right inside of the event itself. I will, just give me a second here, and I will show my screen. So we have my screen here, and if you come into, let me expand this out a little bit here. If you come to the event and you come down here, you should be able to say something right at the bottom. Oh, and then feedback as well, said Angela. So everything I say is doubled. Oh boy, this is one of those events where I'm really afraid that things are kind of waffling. So I'm going to go to something that I'm very familiar with. I'm going to very quickly start a GoToWebinar event and give everybody the URL here just shortly. So just be patient, and we will get this going. It's always funny how these things end up panning out and not necessarily going the way you want them to, but as long as you start setting things up so that you always have a backup, you should be able to recover. And then pray that people haven't abandoned you yet. So be patient with me here.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, so the sound seems fine now is what Angela is saying, and I just need to, I would really appreciate before anybody hops over to before I waffle some more here, this is one of those events that I'm sure is going to go down in my history books for being quite interesting. So, what I want is to see if somebody could just, besides Angela, can say that she can hear me. Otherwise, what I will do is I'll just start up and go for it. Just basically need to know. It's one of those things where, you know, the system with Google, that's one thing you have to keep in mind. The system with Google seems to change enough that every time you come to it, especially if you don't use it on a regular basis, it changes enough that it can really mess with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the assumption that this is all working. It's going to be a big assumption, and I am going to hope, let me just close that down, that everybody will be able to see and hear what I'm doing. So let me get back into here and make sure that people can see what's going on. Okay, so we've got that. You can see my control panel of the broadcast, and I will be able to edit it. So let's carry on then. What I'm going to do is just open up a web browser. And that's the event. I'm not going to worry about that one here. Not going to worry about that either. So, a couple of things that we wanted to cover in this. I'm just going to look at this. You want to be using video for your blog. And the big reason you want to use video for your blog generally is the most important part is the fact that YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. So if you're not paying attention to, you know, what's going on as far as that goes, it can really kind of bite you in the butt. The other thing that you got to keep in mind is that the second search engine on the planet is owned by Google. So if you look at the fact that Google owns that YouTube, it ends up that it's sort of like the cyclic circle where you can get in there and actually start creating some content that people will be able to use very quickly. And I'm going to just use an example here. I'm just going to do a Google search for homeschool class. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll scroll down here, and sometimes in the event, sometimes in the results, you'll find that there's a video inside the links. In this case, there isn't. This is kind of odd to me, but maybe they've changed things a little bit. But a lot of people will come in here and they'll also hit on videos. And once you do that, you get a majority of the YouTube links on homeschools. The big thing that you got to keep in mind here is that if you take a look at, say, the first, so homeschool class is the search term, and you scroll down to the, say, the first link. So, well, did you mean homeschool is one word? Let's go to there. Homeschool classroom, YouTube. Let's very quickly go into this one. And I'm just going to pause it before it goes off. Now this one has, I'm going to say, only 42,000 views. Now that is a fair large number that they have for viewing, but I'd be willing to bet that when you scroll down a little bit, this is still on the first page. Let's go to this one here. You're going to pause, and you're going to look at, let's see how many views. The view count on here is 857, or that's the subscribers. The actual view count on this, I am at a loss as to where it is. But I guess what I'm trying to come down to is I'm a bit ruffled at the very beginning from this start, and I generally try to shy away from PowerPoint presentations, so I don't have any crutch to lean on. So the big thing that I'm trying to get across here is that YouTube is a very large search engine, and you'll also find that the search engine optimization that is done on YouTube is it's very effective, but most people don't use it. And I'm going to show you a really quick trick on what you can do to make it a whole lot easier for yourself as far as figuring out what keywords and everything that you would like to use. So the first thing that we're going to do here is that we're going to just hop into YouTube and do a homeschool, and hopefully I can spell this properly. Homeschool routine. Now these are really good terms that you could use for your local area as far as what people are actually looking for when they come to YouTube and looking for homeschool information. I'm going to say classroom tour, classroom ideas. Let's go to classroom ideas. You know, because it's coming up there, it is a fairly reasonably used search. It is showing up as sort of an autofill. The next thing I want people to do is come in here and hit the filters. And when you hit filters, you want to come in here and sort by view count. So you're going to find how many views. This is going to be the videos that have been watched the most. And these ones are going to have a lot of the key terms that you want. So when you're actually going in and going into YouTube and creating a video, so we're going to very quickly create a video. Or start on a video that I want to make. You come into your video manager. Actually, how about this? I'll step back a little bit. I've already created a video, and you can see right here with this locked is that I've made it private, so only I can see that. And you'll also notice that there's a couple others that are private down here, and they're going to be my stock intro and the exit that I'm going to have at the end of the video and the actual video itself. So what you're going to notice here is I'm going to do video editing right within YouTube, and when you do the editing right within YouTube, there are a few advantages. At any rate, let's go into this, and we're going to take a look at the video itself. And when you come down, you're going to see tags, and in here tags, you want to fill this up as much as you possibly can. When you come into the tags and you fill this up, it helps Google figure out exactly what the video is about. And you have 500 characters in here, and your best bet is to use up all of those 500 characters, populating that with as many keywords as you can. And trying to find those keywords can be a problem. So we're going to come back to that search that I did, and I apologize for bouncing around a little bit here. You're going to go to the homeschool room tour part 1. I'm just going to hit pause on this video once it starts. And for some reason it's not letting me do that. We're going to just retry that really quickly, and I'm going to hit pause. There we go. So once you have that up, what I want you to do, if you're on a Windows machine, on any browser, you can hit Control-U, and if you're on a Mac, you want to hit Command-U. And what that will show you is the page source, and this is all the code, the gobbledygook behind the web page that you can't really see. And for the most part, this makes me go cross-eyed too, so don't worry about it. We're going to make this real easy. We're also going to do Control-F, so we're going to do a find. And we want to find the keywords for this video, or what this person has used keywords for this video. Now, sometimes what you'll see is a list of keywords like this that are used in the video that you can't see on that page. It'll have an ellipsis, or the 3 periods at the end. and if it has the 3 periods at the end, it's truncating this information here, the meta name, just because it will kind of cloud up things. But you'll also notice up here in the search that there's 2 versions of keywords. So you select the second one, and this one's a little more confusing, but you'll notice that just after the quotes of the keywords, this will be all the keywords that could have been used if there was an ellipsis there. What you want to do is you want to cut and paste these and throw them into a text document and start creating the keywords that work really well for videos that are in whatever niche that you're working on. This will help give you a better search engine optimization as far as everything goes. Now, I guess the big thing here is I'm kind of jumped ahead. I probably should have shown this at the very end. But what I'm going to do quickly here is I'm going to see if I can stop that for a second. I want to show my camera, if I can turn it back on. There we go. So I'm going to turn the camera on. All right. So a lot of people are always wondering, how do you get a mic or a decent mic for a video? Well, the first thing is for decent video, one of your best bets is whatever cell phone you happen to have. The cell phone generally has a good camera. A lot of the new iPhones, the iPhone 4, I believe, came out with 720p. I'm not sure if it was earlier than that or not. And the audio quality off these is not too bad. So just recording with the phone or a snap camera or your digital camera is fine. One thing I do recommend, though, is if you're using a different camera, to have a second audio source. And you want to have a decent mic. Decent mics can be expensive. But what I ended up finding out is that the headphones that you get with your phone always has a little mic on it, a little tiny guy right here. So what I end up doing is you just basically reach up under your shirt with a piece of tape, and you take the microphone itself, you just tape it to the inside here, and you'll find with just about every phone, in fact I'm sure every phone that you have out there, you can get a decent audio recording application for free. So you can record the audio of your video just based off of that. Or if you're just doing a self capture of the video, hold up the camera and talk into the camera, you can also hide the mic and have it in there so it looks really good. People understand if you have headphones on or you have a mic sticking in your face, but when you do that, sometimes it looks a little less professional, and you don't really have to go through that because you do have that one free option to you, which is to use the headphone mic. Now I'm going to go back to screen share. That's always interesting when you see that happen. So now we're back at screen share. I just want to make sure that I try to cover these. So we're going to go on. Let's see, I actually got a couple of... Oh, excellent. We do have a few people. I'm feeling good that I'm not just talking to the empty Ethernet right now. So anyways, and I should probably, in case people are going to that GoToWebinar, I'm going to delete that one out. Excellent. So we got Megan, excellent. So you're here, and Amelia. She says that she only uses her iPhone for headshots, but they make great video, and she's right. They really do make a decent video. So, it can't hurt. You always use what you have. I'm sure most of you, I think with homeschooling, is having a tablet or an iPad. Those things are very, very handy to have around. And all of them have great video editing software and everything in it. If you get iMovie on an iPad, you pretty much have everything you really need. So, once you get your video, there's a couple of things that generally come up. One is if you're doing a screen capture like I'm showing right now, how do I edit that once it's all done? You're going to have a rough edit, and you want to deal with things as far as, like, maybe there's a little bit of a blooper, you want to cut out something, or, a kid goes screaming past in the back, and you want to cut that out. You can go and get a lot of the free, with Apple, with iMovie, I highly recommend getting iMovie. It's very inexpensive. If you buy a new Mac, I believe it does come with it. And it's very handy, and it will do everything you need. Windows, really, the Windows Movie Maker, I'm not very fond of, and it can be a pain. So, but this doesn't explain how, if you're, say, at a friend's place or you're capturing something, how you'd be able to edit a video. So let's go into YouTube here, go to my videos, and we'll go to my video manager. And this is where I'm going to jump back into the part that I was talking about, saying, hey, I've got the keywords and SEO for YouTube videos. Just a little earlier when I was explaining the keywords and everything, I did a quick screen capture of that. And then I immediately uploaded it to YouTube. And if you're going to be using your iPhone or something like that, it will make a codec or make a video file that is quite small. If you're going to use your phone, or it's not your phone, your camera, there's a good chance that that video file might be very, very large. And if you have internet caps as far as bandwidth goes, you might not necessarily want to use that video or upload that video because it will eat up a lot of bandwidth. And I'll cover how to shrink that down a little bit in just a minute. But we're going to assume that you've uploaded your video. A lot of people haven't seen this. I come to a lot of different websites, and I will sort of glaze over what's actually happening. And you'll see that on YouTube there's creation tools. So they have an audio files here. Now, the good thing about this is that it's background music for your videos, and it's free. So when you use this, if you want some background royalty-free music, come in here and grab some of the stuff. You're going to find something that you can use. But below that is a video editor. So now we have the video editor. Here's something where I was working on this a little earlier. So this is how I deal with my editing. And what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to, oops, let's see if I can start this completely over again. So we're going to say new project, create a new project. And you'll notice that I have a couple of projects in here now. So I can go back to that other project I was working on earlier and be able to come in and edit it. So you can do multiple videos at the same time. Call the video what you want. In this case, it's going to be SEO and keyword hack for YouTube. And what I have here is, remember earlier I was telling you that I have some videos in here, and I have my stock intro. So I'm going to drag my stock intro into here. So we have that show up. And we're just going to hit pause. Now, one thing this will be kind of annoying is while you're doing some of these little edits, this thing will be running on loop and it will drive you crazy. So hit pause and then come in here. And the one thing I have with this is that it's the intro, it just says video blog basics, but it doesn't give you any context as far as what the video is about. So I'm going to Control C. You can come over here to text. You can enable the text, and you'll notice that you have this band down here, sort of the lower third. You can change the banner opacity, so I'm going to change it so you can't see it. And then I'm going to change the font color to black and use, generally Impact is a really safe font to be using with anything. At that point, just in this case, I want it to align right, and I'm going to add in the keyword hack, and we can see that the size is too large, so we're just going to say small text. And you can see that now I have an intro with customized text, contextual information for the actual video. So now that we've hit that, I'm just going to click outside just in sort of a blank area, and it's going to take me back to where I can drag and drop my videos. We have my keywords video. I can come in here, and I can drag and drop that in. Now, if you need to crop this video, you can do that by grabbing these handles and moving them back and forth. And you can crop the video down if you need to, or cut out different parts. And keep in mind that if you have like a section in the middle of this guy that you want to crop out, is that you can crop this one. So I crop that one in half, and then I can take that same video, drag it down here, and now I can crop it from the other end and get rid of whatever section that was bad for that previous, or when I was doing that one edit I didn't want. And you'll notice now when I hover over things is that I can X out of whatever edits that I have. So you can go back and forth quite quickly. So we'll go into keywords, that video that I had. I'm going to just jump back here and see if anybody's asking any questions at the Hangout here. And yeah, Angela's saying she uses her iPad and my phone adapter for camera tripods. Amelia, I do have one. I'll run back. In my office here and grab one, and I can show people. There's a thing I laser cut that gives you a mount that fits in your wallet that will also hook your phone onto a tripod quite easily. And what I'll do is I can actually give you one for free. I'll send one to you for free if you just sign up on my my email list, and I will give you a link for that in a few minutes. So anyways, back to the class. Yeah, and I apologize, I realize I do have ADD and I bounce back and forth. So at any rate, final thing is I always have an exit video. So at the very end of whatever video you have, you can say you can have an exit. Now, with this exit, let's just go to here. And we're going to pause at some point in time. If you've clicked on this and you see the blue handles, that is only going to show that little section that you're working on. If you click outside, you're going to be looking at the entire video as it plays through. So we're going to come back and click on that exit, and we're going to pause it. Now, you can add text here. When you add the text, you can also add URLs and links to this. So, you know, you can add any more title text and everything that you want, and you can start adding. You know, in this case, I already have the text that I want. I'm going to turn this text off. So I'm going to say, you know, for more information, click here, videoblogbasics.com. And once we publish this video, once it's all edited, I will show you how to add a URL link. So what that will do is it will link to your website from the video. So if people want to get more information, they can actually be sent right to your website, which is, in the end, what everybody's kind of going for. So at any rate, what we have here is a 15-second intro, 4-minute the video, the 4-minute tutorial video, and a minute or so at the very end. I know it's fairly long, but you want to give people a chance to click through. So we've got all that set up, and once you've done that, is you can come in here, and I just want to double check something. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit publish, and video is currently being processed. So at this point, this is where, you know, go back, grab a coffee, and when the video is ready, it will come up here and be ready for you to view, share, and also add those links. So we'll do that. And I believe a little earlier, while we're sitting here kind of waiting for that video to crunch, is editing in YouTube, annotations, lighting. Okay, well, there's one thing I want to add, and I found this trick a little while ago, and I thought it was pretty amazing. Now, you know how I was talking about videos being a little too large, and you not wanting to necessarily upload them. If you have a video that isn't too large, and you want to you know, get that video so that it's in a format that's really good for your website, and you don't want to go through you know, a rendering engine or something like that, is come onto the video manager on YouTube, and you notice that with all your videos here, the ones that you've uploaded, you click on this down arrow, say beside any of them, and if you scroll down, there's a download MP4 file. So what I've done in the past is I'll have like a WMV file or an MOV file or some other video codec that just doesn't seem to work on my website or somebody else's website. I'll upload the video very quickly to YouTube, and while it's uploading, you can say, I want this video to be private, so you lock it off like this, and it will not show to anybody else. And at that point, after it's been uploaded, you give a few minutes, you come in and you download the MP4, you've just saved your computer processing time, the frustration that comes with making sure that the format is right and everything's good for your website, because some people don't necessarily want to have a video on YouTube. What you can do is you can create some teaser content on YouTube to get people interested in coming to your website, and then on your website have the full content there, and you know, do your editing for the videos on YouTube and download the MP4 and just basically use them as a back end, and don't necessarily publish those videos. That way you've got the editor, and you know, if you wanted to, you could go to your public library and be able to edit videos very quickly, or any friend's computer or something like that if you really needed to. So let's just go back and see if we got any questions. No questions here. And the video is still being processed, and we've already covered the keywords. Now, annotations, actually, instead of coming in here and figuring out the annotations, I could come into this video here and hit edit. And when you hit edit, you come down here and there are some advanced settings. Enhancements, annotations. There we go. Ignore the advanced settings. You can come in for that a little later, but you can do some enhancements in audio, so you can add that audio background that you wanted to. You can add closed captioning. Now, YouTube actually automatically populates this, and it does some. It tries to figure out what you're saying, and it will create the captions for your video. you can place those in there, and it does help. But you know, if you have a computer figuring this out, it only does a job, so good job. So you got to be really careful with that. So anyway, we're going to come into annotations. Now the way annotations works is, let's just skip forward a little bit. Let's say at this section here on a video, you wanted to add an annotation. So you can add a speech bubble, a note, a spotlight, a label, titles, anything like that. And all of these you can actually make clickable to a URL. So I can make this a little simpler. Let's go back to something that'll be a little more in context to what I would have done on this guy here. Is this go to the exit long? Now here's a little bit of a caveat, is that if I come in here and I put an annotation on this private video that I use to append onto the back of another video, it will not bring all the annotations through. So when you create a new video, you're always going to have to redo the annotations. I'm only kind of skipping in here so that I can show everybody while YouTube is crunching down that video is what to do. So here is the final section, and I've already actually done this, is added an annotation. And you'll notice that there's a box over this, and when I hover over it, it'll take me to videoblogbasics.com. So basically the easiest thing you can do on this is that you just want to add a note, a title, a spotlight. So in this case, you know, I made a spotlight, so we can go like this, right over top of the text that you had. And you can also link this to any YouTube videos or anything like that that you might want. Let's see if I can make this happen properly. And once you have that, you can create any text that you want in here. So you can put text in here, but you don't have to. And the key thing here is at the very bottom of most of these is you have link. And I can say I want this to go to videoblogbasics.com, and you know, start link to video at. So you know, this is one of those things where, you know, I'm not exactly sure what this means completely, but you can also say open the link in a new window, so it leaves the video open in the background. Myself personally, I really like it when people leave that in the background for me to come and open up. It just makes my life a little easier. So I'm gonna come in here, and this is the other element, or the previous one caption that I had made. I'm just gonna kind of get rid of that, and you'll see that this one here is the one that I just created, this little box. And you can increase the size at where it starts and where it stops within the video. And of course I'm mucking around and nothing seems to be working. Seems to be the flavor of the night here for doing some of this stuff. At any rate, once you've done this this highlight, you just have to hit publish and it will fix that video. Now I'm going to cross my fingers so I can come back here and refresh. Now it's still being, sometimes Google is really good at getting you these videos edited, or at least re-rendered very quickly, and go from there. So let's see, what else do we need to cover? So marketing, when I was talking about marketing before, it was a lot to do with the SEO that I was talking about at the very beginning. So I just see that Amelia, now Amelia is also, she's like the website guru that works with us at Video Blog Basics. She's the one who knows all the code in the back end that really rocks things. So let's see. Set the defaults below for future uploads. These settings can be overridden. Ah, Amelia, you rock. I did not know this. So this is awesome. So what she's saying is if I come into YouTube and we'll go here to my channel. Not my channel. I'm probably thinking, trying to figure out where that page is. So Amelia, if you could really quickly tell me where that this section is. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to take a look and see if I can figure this out. So Video Manager subscription page. I'm going to think that it's in the Video Manager. And that looks about right. So under Channel Settings, we're going to go into Channel Settings here. And where was that? So Channel Settings, Default. I have to run back and forth. My brain's like a gnat right now. It doesn't hold a whole lot at the time, but at any rate, there we go. So future defaults for uploads. You can turn this to unlisted or private. So that's a really good way to make sure that when you're uploading, it doesn't immediately go online. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to thank Amelia for showing me something that I did not know at the very beginning. This is awesome. There we go. Okay, so marketing, I was talking about the sort of the back end and the SEO there, and the social media channels. This is something, this could be a presentation all on its own. It's one of those things where going around and sharing videos seems to work out a little better, at least for some people. I think all of you, since you're homeschoolers, will understand that everybody has a different learning style. And what I generally try to do is, if I'm doing any content, I will try and make a video first. And then from the video, I'll get it transcribed, so I will have text. And I can also, or I try very hard to describe things that are on the screen in as much detail as I possibly can, not necessarily what I'm doing now, so that I can pull just the audio out. So at that point, we can start taking a look at the three different types of learners out there. There's the learners who could use a video and learn well from videos. There's the learners who deal well with just listening to audio. And then there's the learners who do really well from just taking a look at the text. If you start with a video, what you end up having is that text, you have that MP3, and with the text you can always cut and paste screen caps or parts of the video, a screen capture, a still screen capture at different key points in your text, and you can create an awful lot of content just based off of one video. So, you know, one thing that, you know, Ange put this in here, and you might feel intimidated to hit the record button, but it's a lot easier than you think. Contrary to popular belief, I'm a reasonably shy kind of person. I do well in public situations, but afterwards I'm completely exhausted and tapped. So, you know, maybe I fake it well. And for me to do my first videos, it was a big, tough go, and I'm sure it will be for a lot of you. And you're not going to like seeing yourself on the screen, and you're not necessarily going to like hearing yourself, but you'd be amazed at what people like to hear and what they like to see going on. They want to hear from real people. They don't want to see the perfect, polished web presentation that works amazing and everything's flawless. It's, you know, in my opinion, it's a bunch of BS, because that's not how reality works. And if they hear from somebody that, you know, makes a couple flubbubs while they're talking, and keeps a lot of that stuff in their video, that they'll do really well, because you're actually attaching, or you're coming into the person at a sort of a one-to-one level, instead of the, you know, the authoritarian figure trying to show everybody exactly what to do. So, you know, hit the record button and spend a little bit of time editing. And as Ange will show you, and I'll tell you, is your first video, it's going to take you an incredibly long time to make. If you want to do, like, say, a 5-minute presentation, I'd be willing to say that you're going to spend at least half a day or a day trying to make that first one, because you're going to be going on a learning curve, and it's going to be frustrating as all heck. But you're going to find the next one's going to be half that amount of time, and it'll slowly start getting shorter and shorter, so that you know, next time you have to make like a 2-minute video, if you've been doing it for a month, you'll probably find that you can create that in, you know, I'm thinking an hour, if not a whole lot less, if you really know your content. And you maybe feel like you're too busy to bother with another medium. Well, here's the big key thing. How hard is it to pick up your phone, have the camera pointed at you, and talk about your thoughts, or show people exactly what's going on in the background? And on the iPhone and everything else, the YouTube app, you can just upload directly from your phone and be done with it. So, you know, if you're saying you're too busy to bother with this, if you're making short little quips that are easy to create, and you could just grab your phone and record yourself, then, you know, go and do it. It's, again, you know, YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. I know I keep saying that. I'm always trying to beat that into people's heads, because if you take a look at the videos and the way they're optimized, it's horrific, and it's really not hard to stand out in a crowd if you just spend a little bit of time. With, like, once you've done the upload, come in and find the keywords. I showed you how to do it really quickly, and there will be a YouTube video up there with the rest of it very quickly that you can re-watch yourself and be able to do, and I'm positive you'll be able to do that within a few minutes. Is it really going to be worth your time? Absolutely. Again, this is one of those things where you're going to get a lot of attention on what you're doing. So let's see what we've covered here. Why use the video? Well, you want to use video because that is, a great way to get out there. And if you're writing text, that's only going to get to people that, like to read and are the text kind of people. There's the audio people and the video people. You're missing out completely, and they could be, purchasers or of products that you have, or be able to help you out. And you don't necessarily want to leave them off to the side. Here's one thing that I haven't covered, but this is dead simple. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to, let's see what's happening here. I seem to have lost a window. There we go. Okay, I was worried I had lost this. Okay, so let's just flip this around so that we can take a look. Turn the camera on. And I don't want to screen share anymore. There we go. All right. So lighting. The lighting that I have here is this is kind of horrific, but okay. So the background here is nothing more than a Tyvek sheet. You could use a bed sheet or anything like that, and it's hung by a wire that's just up here. And here is my darkened, undeveloped basement that is all horrific. And you can see it's really dark and gross. But there's two light fixtures up there, and I bought two really high wattage bulbs. So I've got two 100-watt bulbs up there, or something that puts out a lot of light. And you can see it doesn't do all that bad of a job. Generally, your best bet with lighting is to get as much as possible. If it's at the point where you're kind of squinting, that's about where it should be. And that's about all the advice that I can give you. The other things that you want to take care of are, like, say if there's a really bad drop shadow like that, you kind of want to be sitting somewhere where the shadow isn't so bad. And in this case, there isn't a whole lot of light coming up to my face, so a desk lamp just over here would probably do really well. But it's not that expensive. It's not that hard. And, I wouldn't even recommend that you spend too much time on lighting systems. I see a lot of lighting systems out there that, if you're doing high-end professional videos, yes, I guess it's worth it, but I've seen videos that are 10 times better that are just using sunlight, natural light. Give that a try, and it can't hurt. So let's just start the screen share again, and we will open up this guy. And let's see, is this one going to be ready now? I'm going to cross my fingers. Aha! Okay, so you can see that video blog basics has come up, and we've got everything there. So this one is set and ready to go. The SEO hack for YouTube, or keyword hack for YouTube. So I'm going to go into the back end of my video manager. I'm just going to get out of there, and now that we have this here, now this, because Amelia showed us that little trick, it came out and it was locked in private immediately. So thank you again, Amelia. That is totally awesome. I'm going to come into edit, and I want to get to the end of my video. So you have to start playing it. We're going to hit pause, and I want to come down to the very end of my video for that more information part. And it starts right about here. So we're going to hit play just a little further. There we go. So we're right at that point that I want to be. And I want to come into annotations. I guess right within annotations. I shouldn't have scrolled through. We come in here. There we go. So that's where I want to add that one annotation. So I want to add an annotation. We're going to spotlight. So I'm going to take a spotlight and I'm going to put it over top of this guy here. Well, it looks like I already had one in there. So anyhow, we've got that spotlight to sort of show up where we want it to. I'm not going to spend too much time tweaking this and boring everybody because, well, I don't want to bore everyone. And I don't necessarily have to put any text in here, so I've just made that a highlight so when they mouse over here. So this call for action is telling them that if you want more information to click there. Come down and say I want it to be a link. I want them to go to http://video blog basics. And not semicolon, you want a full colon. There we go. And you can preview the link, so make sure that it works. So we're going to hit that and see if it takes it to the website, which it does. and the link will open in a new window. So that's all set up, and the last thing that we need to do is I want that to go to the very end of the video. So this all being said is that I've created that one annotation or that one link. I can go anywhere in the video, and if there's something where, let's say I have this video here, I could create another annotation and have a link right there. So you could bring up an arrow or some text saying, hey, you know what, you really want to click here and check out this video, and it will pause this first video and take you over to that one to watch for a minute, and then you can come back and finish off. There's a lot of different things you can do. And if you're really adventurous, one thing I've always wanted to do, but I probably never will, is a save or a choose your own adventure. So you know those choose your own adventure books? If you did your choose your own YouTube video adventure and do that for kids, so set up a training resource right through YouTube using a sort of choose your own adventure type book, I think it would be a lot of fun. Now we're at 1:46, and I like leaving lots of time for questions. So we covered microphones, editing in YouTube, and annotations. And I do realize it bounced around everywhere. I do apologize for that. I kind of got my groove at the end, and the reason why is I was pretty flustered at trying to get this this Hangout to work. It just wasn't quite the same as I had used before. Anyway, Amelia points out a couple of good things, or at least one good thing, is making a video creates loyalty with your audience because it brings out your personality that the text can't do. And Amelia's got one advantage too, is that she's an Aussie and she's got this really cute Aussie accent, and I'm positive it helps with her videos, especially if you're looking at the North American market or in a market where they don't have your accent. It can really come to your advantage. So, and she says her Aussie accent she thought would be a deterrent. Yeah, I love her accent. Everybody else does. It's really not that big of a deal. I think we've got some friends that are English, and they're kind of frustrated because everybody thinks they're Irish half the time. But there's no mistaking an Aussie accent. So, Angela is saying her first video ended up positioning the camera the wrong way, but she still published it and made the best of it. And that video is doing really well. And the other thing too is that publishing your first video and getting that one out there is generally sort of the release. It's that one little trigger that you need to do. You need to do that one, and you have to put it out there, and then a few people maybe make a couple of comments, or you realize that things aren't so bad, and that's just the right thing to do, and it can get you out and going. Yeah, Amelia says it looks like man cave lighting. Well, it's future man cave lighting. It's not quite what I want it to be right now, but it will be soon. So, if anybody else has got any questions, it would be nice to see them show up. You can leave it right in here underneath the say something. I'll wait here for a minute or two, and then we'll go from there. One thing that I want to see if I can figure out, and hopefully people can put up with me for a minute here, is that I want to see why I haven't been able to add a person down here. So invite, link to share. I'm going to cross my fingers that Amelia will join me if I give her that link. So I think the best way to do that will be through a chat. If I can find it. There we go. Can't. There she is. I'm going to see if this actually works or not. I'm probably making Amelia scramble in the background because she's not all set up or anything. And Amelia, feel free to just ignore me. I'd have no problems with that. I'm going to see. I'm going to send Angela that link as well, because I'm really kind of curious at Hangouts. This is one thing with the videos that you're going to find that not everything's going to work the first time. It's going to be incredibly frustrating. Now, I'd like to think that I'm somewhat experienced, and so far I've waffled my way through 50 minutes of well, I'm sure, painful video for you guys, but I'm crossing my fingers that it might actually have helped some of you out. Well, echo. Aha!
It works or not. I'm probably making Amelia scramble in the background because she's not all set up. Amelia, feel free to just ignore me.
Okay.
I'd have no problems with that. I'm going to see send Angela that link as well because I'm really kind of curious of Hangouts. This is one thing with the videos that you're going to find that not everything's going to work the first time. It's going to be incredibly frustrating. Now, I'd like to think that I'm somewhat experienced, and so far I've waffled my way through 50 minutes of for you guys. But it might actually have helped some of you out. It works or not. I'm probably making Amelia scramble in the background because she's not all set up. Amelia, feel free to just ignore me. That link as well because I'm really kind of curious of Hangouts. This is one thing with the videos that you're going to find that
Okay, can anybody hear me now? Okay, so I got nodding heads. I just don't have any audio coming from you guys, and that's probably me not wearing a headset. But
okay, can you hear me?
well, the computer can see you saying, "Oh, you know what? I know what's going on here." Okay, you try that again, Ange.
Hi.
Ah, you know what?
You heard me.
It works really well if you turn your speakers on. Can I just say it was a stressful day?
A long day, right? It's the evening.
Well, you know, you can make any excuse you want. It doesn't necessarily make what I just did any better.
Okay.
So, do you have anything you want to add, Ange? Now that
I just had said when you do something in iMovie, let's say you've started your editing, you download it to the YouTube, you can still go in once you're in YouTube to do some other final edits, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah. You can go in and as soon as you hit publish, that's the point where you can't do it anymore. But if you just go in there and you make the changes, you don't have to hit save. It's automatically keeping everything. So you can, you know, if your computer crashes, that's another advantage too. Because if your computer crashes, YouTube will remember, you know, the last little bit of data that was sent to it. So it's not going to lose any of your edits, and you can come back to it later and work on it from there. Well, I can see Amelia's coming back in.
I was having technical difficulties as well.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you guys showing up, even though I didn't use you. I'm just feeling so pseudo stressed and kind of happy it's over now. Pardon me.
And so my lighting, just because we were talking about lighting, I'm just in a room, and it's just the regular ceiling light, and I've got the window open, and it's dusk right now for us, so like there's not a lot of sunlight anymore. No. So I don't know how it shows up for you, but that's all I'm using.
Well, that's perfect. Amelia, what is it? What time in the morning is it there? 6? 7?
No, it's nearly 1 in the afternoon here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm out of my jammies and I'm wide awake.
Are you? Awesome. Okay, Amelia's one that you kind of work on North American time anyways. You're usually up at like 4 in the morning to do webinars that some of us do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
So, all right, awesome. Okay, so I want to thank Amelia too for that one tip on making everything private. I had no idea you could make everything private when you uploaded it. That just relieved a huge amount of stress, and I can guarantee you conversations I've had with Angela, she's sitting there going, I'm going to do it now!
You can deal with all the other things as well, so things like the keywords, if you have ones that you want to add all the time, you can do those things as well. You can add them in down the bottom.
Right. And and add more. I know, I have stressed a few times about it uploading and not being edited, and so that'll be, I can go into the defaults there now.
Well, for sure. And the other thing too is that, you know, leave your mistakes in on some of the videos that I've seen. I've produced about 120 hours of computer-aided design videos that are just screen captures, And the big thing that I've done that really helped as a sales point, and at first I was just like, oh, what am I doing, is I left my mistakes in, but people would see the mistakes I made in the software, and then I would show them how to sort of back up and correct those mistakes and then go forward. So if you're creating, like, say, an educational product, and a kid comes up and asks the wrong question, or you mess up or something like that, it's good to show people that these mistakes happen. I'm human just like you. I'm not perfect. And if you do run across this mistake, this is how you solve it. That is a huge selling point. It's amazing how many people are afraid to do that, but your mistakes can, in the end, make more money than doing anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or little things. I have a short one where we're just doing a spelling exercise. And there was just a little stumble in it, but, I just left it in instead of, because when you're teaching kids spelling, they're going to hit a word they can't spell, so then just go back and help them out and fix it, so.
Yeah, and you can show everybody how your kids can't spell on video. Okay, maybe not, but.
No, but you know what I mean, like, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect every word that they're spelling when you're doing something like that, or as long as you want to make sure your kids are okay with it, that they're cool with that, but yeah.
Okay, very cool. One thing that I want to do here is all of this is being recorded and thrown onto the YouTube channel, and I will make it public because I'm talking about making errors and waffling, so I'm going to thoroughly embarrass myself as a self-proclaimed video guy. I'm not going to say expert because it's far from that, but I think we'll have to go through another one of these where I show everybody how to set up one of these Google Hangouts, because the one thing that I wasn't unaware of is when you're setting up the Google event is different than a Hangout. And then what you have to do is you have to make the event, then you have to make the Google Hangout, then you have to either try to make that as a later date, then you have to start that, make sure you copy the URL over to the event. And that was Ben scrambling for the first half hour when I hoped that I could be just checking audio levels.
Well, I think when we very, very first tried it, when it was brand new, it was basically you just hit Start Hangout. So they have made lots of changes.
Yeah. So again, this is one thing with technology too, is that a lot of people have to be aware is that it's not going to be the same every day. If you like your Windows 3.1, then you better go get a machine that only runs that. Otherwise, or get the software that you like and lock down onto it. But it's going to change, and just be aware that something's gonna pop up and it's going to drive you crazy. But in the end, it will all work out.
You get phone calls from people.
No, for sure. Well, Amelia, you started doing a lot of your webcasts, like about a year ago, maybe a little more?
Oh, do you mean like my video screen casting?
Yeah.
It was probably the time I met yourself and Chris, which was, that's probably going back nearly 3 years now, which has gone really quick.
Yeah, no kidding. But, okay, so this will be one thing, is that in those 3 years, how much stuff has changed to the point where, like, you open up the software after an update, you're just like, oh, no!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
What was that?
No, it's fine. Keep going.
No, I'm just muttering now. I think I'm pretty much done. If anybody wants to add anything, and then we are sort of at the 1 hour point, and strangely enough, I have another business meeting that I have to hop in the car and go to.
Okay, I'm good. You answered a lot of my questions about all the little extras I could do on YouTube, so.
Right, and feel free to tell me afterwards how foolish I was and how much I was jumping around, and I should have done a better job, because I know that, but I still need somebody to point out the worst of the worst, so I at least focus on those points. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully I've helped you out. If anybody has any questions, go to videoblogbasics.com. Sign up for our newsletter, go to our contact page, ask me anything. I'll do my best to answer as fast as I can, and help you out in any way I can, because it's video is a pretty easy medium to work with, and I think a lot of people should be using it more. So that's all I got.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye.
You too.